think you should pay everybody? Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for sure.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, has been in the spotlight, but for all the wrong reasons. If you thought local politics were dull, think again. The scandals surrounding her are far from ordinary. She's been accused of corruption, mismanaging funds, and abusing her power, with the list of allegations continuing to grow. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, her own boyfriend testified against her in court, piling on even more accusations. It's like something out of a political thriller. Henyard made history in 2021 when she became Dalton's first female mayor, marking a significant achievement for this small suburban town. But her time in office has been anything but smooth. Instead of being celebrated for breaking barriers, she's now overwhelmed by a wave of accusations that have completely changed the course of her career. In recent months, all eyes have been on her, but for the wrong reasons. And with her boyfriend now testifying against her, the situation has reached a boiling point. In court, he accused her of serious misconduct, claiming that Henyard used taxpayer money for personal luxuries. Funds that were meant for public services were allegedly spent on lavish dinners, high-end entertainment, and even personal vacations. This kind of allegation has sparked outrage, especially since the money was meant to serve the community. And it doesn't stop there. He also alleged that Henyard has been accepting bribes from local businesses in exchange for political favors. If true, this would be a textbook example of corruption. The list of accusations against her continues to expand. Critics argue that she's been making illegal appointments to important positions within the village, bypassing proper procedures. For example, she allegedly appointed a police chief and a village attorney without first seeking approval from the village board. A judge eventually blocked these appointments, ruling that they violated the law. But the incident highlights just how far Henyard may be willing to go to secure her agenda. Her actions suggest she is running the town as if it were her personal domain. Then there's the issue of contracts. Critics claim Henyard has been awarding contracts to personal connections, rewarding her allies while sidelining those who oppose her. Allegations of bribery and unethical tactics to maintain her power have emerged. These are not minor claims. They represent a level of corruption that has left taxpayers feeling both betrayed and outraged. To make matters worse, Henyard's boyfriend testified that she has been misusing village funds for extravagant personal expenses unrelated to the town's operations. Whether it's extravagant dining, entertainment, or travel, these are not the kinds of expenses residents expect their hard-earned tax dollars to cover. It's no surprise that people are furious, especially given that the town is already dealing with significant financial struggles. Speaking of which, Dalton is facing a major debt crisis. Reports indicate that the village's general fund is running a deficit of over $3.5 million. For a small town, that's an enormous hole to dig out of. Many residents are placing the blame directly on Henyard, accusing her of contributing to the town's financial troubles. They argue that if she hadn't misused funds, Dalton might not be in such a precarious position. Recently, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired to investigate Henyard's spending, and the findings have been nothing short of shocking. According to the investigation, Henyard spent an astonishing $40,000 in a single day on Amazon purchases. Yes, you read that right. $40,000 in just one day. People are asking what could possibly have been bought that would justify such an extravagant expenditure. That's just one of many questions being raised as the investigation continues. But Lightfoot's findings don't end there. Henyard is also accused of overspending on overtime for certain police officers, with one officer reportedly earning over $100,000 in overtime last year, more than their base salary. This kind of spending raises more than just eyebrows. It raises serious concerns about the town's priorities and how taxpayer money is being managed. And as if this wasn't enough, the FBI has now entered the picture. Federal investigators are looking into Dalton's finances, including the potential misuse of federal funds. This is no small matter, and it could have serious implications for both Henyard and the town's future. The consequences for Henyard are severe, ranging from criminal charges to potential jail time. The stakes couldn't be higher. Despite the growing list of accusations, Henyard isn't backing down. She maintains that the entire situation is a politically motivated attack orchestrated by her enemies. According to her, the timing of these allegations, coinciding with an upcoming election, is far too convenient to be a coincidence. However, many aren't buying her defense. With so much evidence stacking up, even some of her own supporters are starting to question her actions. Last month, a judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing Henyard from making appointments without the approval of the village trustees. This legal setback is just another obstacle in her ever-growing list of troubles. Her attempts to control the narrative have not gone smoothly either. She has had several public confrontations with the Dalton Board of Trustees, vetoing decisions, and even defying court orders. In one instance, she tried to push through appointments despite a judge's ruling that she didn't have the authority to do so. It's almost as if she's daring the legal system to take action against her. Meanwhile, public opinion has turned sharply against her. Dalton residents are fed up, and social media has exploded with calls for her resignation. People are drawing connections between Henyard's alleged misconduct and the town's ongoing financial troubles. One social media user summed up the mood perfectly. She's as corrupt as they come, and she needs to go to jail. Others are wondering why she hasn't fled with the money she's accused of taking. So, where does this leave Dalton? The town's political future is now hanging in the balance. If Henyard is removed from office, there's a very real risk of a leadership vacuum, which could further destabilize the town. With Dalton's finances already in disarray, the absence of stable leadership could worsen the economic crisis the town is already facing. At this point, everyone is eagerly awaiting the outcome of the investigations. The scandal surrounding Henyard is far from over, and with each new revelation, it seems more secrets are being uncovered. It's hard to imagine how she could recover from this, but stranger things have certainly happened in politics. Will she manage to weather the storm and retain her position? Or is this the end of the road for Dalton's super mayor? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: people will be watching her every move from now on. Thanks for sharing your perspective today. We have the best mayor ever, some residents say, having been part of the town since 1993. However, Mayor Tiffany Henyard's responses have become increasingly defensive. At one point, she even lashed out at reporters, accusing them of being part of a conspiracy against her. She argued that the media only highlights her alleged wrongdoings and ignores any positive contributions she's made to Dalton. But if she hoped this would generate sympathy, it doesn't seem to be working. Public opinion continues to turn against her, and more residents are calling for her to step down. A major question on everyone's mind is whether the FBI investigation will lead to federal charges. If that occurs, it could mark the end of Henyard's political career and possibly her freedom. Even if she avoids prison time, her reputation is left severely damaged, and restoring it might be impossible. Additionally, Lightfoot's investigation has exposed further questionable spending, suggesting this scandal is set to deepen. The financial troubles alone are concerning, but when combined with accusations of bribery and the misuse of funds, it's clear that Mayor Henyard may have seriously overstepped her authority. So, what lies ahead for Tiffany Henyard? Will she be able to clear her name and keep her position as Dalton's mayor? Or is this the beginning of the end of her career? More importantly, how will Dalton recover from the fallout of this scandal? With so much on the line, no one can say how this will play out. But one thing is sure: the residents of Dalton won't forget this soon. What's your take? Does Henyard deserve another chance, or is it time for Dalton to find new leadership? Share your thoughts in the comments and keep the conversation going. This legal battle is only adding to the already growing list of challenges Henyard is facing. Her attempts to steer the narrative have also been met with resistance. She has had multiple public clashes with the Dalton Board of Trustees, vetoing their decisions and even defying court rulings. In one instance, she tried to make appointments despite a judge ruling that she lacked the authority to do so. It almost seems like she's daring the legal system to take action against her. Meanwhile, public sentiment is rapidly turning against her. Dalton residents are increasingly frustrated, and social media has been flooded with calls for her resignation. People are connecting Henyard's alleged actions to Dalton's ongoing financial difficulties. One social media user summed up the mood by stating, "She's as corrupt as they come, and she needs to go to jail." Others are questioning why she hasn't disappeared with the money she's accused of taking. So, where does this leave Dalton? The town's political future is uncertain. If Henyard is removed from office, there's a real risk of a leadership vacuum, which could lead to even greater instability. Dalton's finances are already in turmoil, and if leadership doesn't change soon, the town could face a more severe economic crisis. At this point, everyone is eagerly awaiting the outcome of the investigations. The scandal surrounding Henyard is far from over, and with every new revelation, it seems more details are coming to light. It's hard to see how she could recover from this, but in politics, stranger things have happened. Will she weather the storm and retain her position? Or is this the end for Dalton's super mayor? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, people will be closely monitoring her every move from now on. Thank you for sharing your perspective today. We have the best mayor ever, say some longtime residents who've been part of Dalton since 1993. However, Mayor Tiffany Henyard's responses have become increasingly defensive. She even lashed out at reporters, accusing them of conspiring against her. She argued that the media focuses solely on her alleged wrongdoings, ignoring the positive things she has done for Dalton. But if she hoped this would shift public opinion in her favor, it doesn't seem to be working. Public sentiment is continuing to turn against her, with more residents demanding her resignation each day. One of the biggest questions now is whether the FBI investigation will lead to federal charges. If that happens, it could be the end of Henyard's political career and potentially her personal freedom. Even if she avoids prison, her reputation has taken a significant hit, and repairing that may prove impossible. Additionally, Lori Lightfoot's investigation has uncovered even more questionable spending, suggesting the scandal is only going to intensify. The financial troubles alone are alarming, but when combined with bribery allegations and misuse of funds, it's clear Henyard may have seriously overstepped her authority. So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Will she clear her name and retain her position as Dalton's mayor? Or is this the beginning of the end of her political life? And more importantly, how will Dalton recover from this scandal? With so much on the line, no one can predict how this will unfold. But one thing is certain, Dalton's residents won't forget this anytime soon. What do you think? Does Henyard deserve another chance? Or is it time for Dalton to find new leadership? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going.